Welcome back to Bass Capital Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Lara Wallace, and today I'm here with, I would consider you to be like the South Side unofficial mayor, the legend of the South Side, Mr. Vito
I don't know if I take that position or not.
Russo.
I am the president of the South Historic Neighborhood Association.
The same thing. That's the same
Yeah,
concept.
I suppose it is the same thing.
Thanks for joining me. So we are going to talk about one of my favorite things that you have helped facilitate in the community, which is Porchfest. But we're not allowed to do that yet because if you've watched enough of my podcast, you'll know. First, you got to tell me, how'd you end up in Putnam County?
Well, I was working with a small hydrology firm in Davis, California, and I got a job offer with the St. Johns River Water Management District. And my parents live in DeLand, and my brother's in Mount Dora.
Okay.
So to be closer to my folks, I took the position and I moved to Palatka.
Very nice. There's another gentleman who we've interviewed, Mr. Craig McLean, also.
Good friend of mine.
Yep. With the water management. I like that water management sucks everybody in.
It definitely brings a lot of people in from all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of smart people at the water district.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm feel very fortunate to be able to be in front of some of those as we speak. Now, did you grow up in DeLand or?
No, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in St. Louis. Beautiful in the fall. It's really beautiful there. In fact, I'm going to be taking a little trip this October. Go back up there and visit my brother. I have one brother in St. Louis. So it was a good place to grow up. Middle class, blue collar families all around. My dad was definitely blue collar, and I learned a lot from him and various mentors. So I'm a pretty handy guy. Well, I bought a historic house in the South Historic neighborhood, and I restored it myself. Took me about 7-8 years.
I feel like that's the rule, though. My parents also bought a historic home, and like I remember, I don't know why this stood out to me. I mean, I guess once you hear it, you'll understand why. But as a child, I didn't understand. My dad always did handiwork and, from electronics to building his own stuff. And when they bought the house, you could take a pencil and stick it through the wall at the base of the stairs and pull it out the other side of the pantry. But what he's done to that is incredible. But my mom, I think, forgive me, Mom, if I'm saying this wrong, but I think she thought maybe it'd be a little bit of a quicker process, but I think it was at least 8 years down the road.
Yeah, if you're doing the work yourself, it just takes time. In fact, there's so much work to it. You don't even want to think about it. You just got to kind of keep your head down, phase it out, one phase, second phase,
one room
third
at a
phase.
time, yeah.
And then eventually you'll get there. In fact, there's still things I got to do to the house, but my house is one of the most beautiful historic houses in Palatka.
I wanted to unsafely ask you what the address was so we could all come check it out, but I don't know that
it was
you
on the historic house tour last year.
Oh, okay.
And I believe that the women's club it was a fundraiser for the women's club.
Has somebody reached out to you about doing a tour of your house on camera?
Not this year.
So, yeah, we're going to be doing a tour of historic homes with our partner, Deputy's Attic. Sam is incredible. And
Sam's a great guy.
Yep. And one of our first partner, or the first partner on the podcast. So I'm going to have to hit you up. And
you're more than welcome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's a 1916 craftsman home, and I restored it. Took my time. I restored it with care. And it's actually, I was very, very careful with the elements of the house. So when you walk into this particular house, it's a little time warp. You go back in time. All the elements of the house are of the 20s. We got pictures hanging off the picture rail with wires. You've got you've got the lamps and the furnishings.
So it came with all of that.
No, I had help with it. The neighborhood ladies have definitely come in and helped me decorate the place. I've definitely needed some help. And so anyway, all the elements are of the 20s. So the pictures off the picture rail and the couches and the chairs and the lamps.
So you preserved that space and time.
Oh
with the
yeah.
decoration. Okay, now I'm
And so
tracking.
if you like the bathrooms, I put the claw tubs back in the bathrooms. I
Mm.
put the high tank pull chain toilets in the
How'd
bathrooms.
you find all that stuff?
Well, actually, you can buy that stuff brand new.
I won't tell.
California, you got
Scuff it up a little
you
bit.
got to splurge. Let
Yeah,
me tell you, there were
right.
certain things I splurged on. The the toilets are like $1,000 a piece.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean they're not cheap,
No.
but I was committed to keeping the character of the house of the 20s,
Hmm.
and house came out just really beautiful. It's very colorful in the house.
Yeah.
Different colors all over. That's why I painted the outside of the house white.
Okay.
Painted the outside white because when you walk in, there's a lots of different colors in the house. It's
I can't wait to come see
yeah,
it.
it's very nice. It turned out real nice. Yeah.
My mom has a clawfoot, the original one from the house in the upstairs bathroom. In her house, there's two bedrooms, um, and then like the little crawl spaces on the side. So it was a two-story. It was very small. My dad added on to it, so it is much bigger now. But the two bedrooms upstairs connected to like a shotgun like bathroom, and then on a platform was a clawfoot tub. I mean, that's where the clawfoot tub will forever stay because I'm not hauling it anywhere.
It's heavy.
And yeah, that's good. It's gonna stay right
It's
there.
very heavy. Yeah.
But they're absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's so the house is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a very positive space for really two basic reasons.
Hmm.
One, I've got 32 windows in a
Oh
1,600
my
square foot
goodness.
house. So there's a lot of
Oh,
natural light coming into the house.
yeah.
And then you have all of this woodwork,
Hmm.
and the woodwork is not painted.
Mm.
Hallelujah. It was never painted.
Oh my
So
goodness.
we had we had to sand it all
Hmm.
and revarnish it because the old varnish was extruding. After 100 years, the varnish was extruding out. You couldn't see the wood grain any longer.
Mm.
So everything got sanded down and revarnished so that wood grain could come back out. And I put the varnish was like $40 a quart. I used like 2.5 gallons. Put one coat on. Gives you an idea how much woodwork's in there. And you got to remember, one really interesting thing about these historic houses, all these historic houses, all the material that's in those houses
Hmm.
came to the job site either on a horse-drawn wagon or a Model T pickup truck.
That's very true. I mean, you wouldn't think about that.
And the amount of material that's in the house is substantially more than what you get in a modern house. I mean, you got to remember all the
That's wild to
plaster, all
think
the
about.
lath,
Yeah.
all the 2x4s, the rafters. I mean,
I just heard like I guess my mind went back to that time and like horse hooves coming down like the way,
brick
like
streets.
the brick streets and
Yeah.
just incredible.
Back then, they had brick streets and they had granite curbs. Granite curbs. There's still granite.
Interesting.
There's still, they've been lost. Some of it's been lost over time, or maybe the majority of it lost over time. But there's still sections with in the neighborhood with granite curbs.
I just heard Vito say he's taking me on a tour
Yeah.
so we could see all these hidden gems. That's what y'all heard, right?
I should be happy to.
Excellent. I love that.
I've been in most of
I've been willing.
I've been in most of those houses.
There's something very magical about stepping into the past. Like, was that your plan? Like, oh, I'm gonna move to Florida to be closer to my parents and buy a turn of the century home and restore it from start to finish? Like, how'd you?
Well, I moved to Florida to be close to the folks.
Right.
And since I'm handy, I mean, I did all the electrical work, all the plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
I got a whole new plumbing system in the house. I did it all myself. Nobody wanted to do it.
Right.
So I ended up doing it myself.
Oh my gosh.
And did all the carpenter work in the house.
I know who to call if something breaks down in the house now.
Yeah, I'm fairly handy guy. So when I got here, I bought a couple acres outside in Barden.
Mm-hmm.
And after a few years, I was, I'm into old cars and old motorcycles. I've restored old cars, old motorcycles and stuff. So being handy doing a house is no big deal. So I started looking around, and I would say, I looked at historic houses, north side and south side. I looked at it for like 3 years.
Wow.
I wouldn't pull the trigger. I kept seeing these houses, and for one reason or another, I didn't want it for a variety of reasons. And then one time after about 3 years or so looking and not pulling the trigger, I got a call from somebody said a deal fell through on this particular house that I might be interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, sure, I'll come look at it. And I did. And when I walked in the door, as soon as I walked in the door, I knew I was buying this house.
That was it. Love
And
at
the thing
first
about
sight.
the thing about it, the house was still intact.
Mm-hmm.
It hadn't been molested, so it was still intact. It was just old.
Right.
And as it turns out, I am the fourth owner of a house that's 100 years old. It's 100. It was built in 1916, so
And
it's
it like
108 now.
roll over. So when did you buy it? What year?
I bought the house in 2010. I didn't move into it until like 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I worked on it. Well, I first bought it. I didn't do anything with it for the first 2 years, doing other things. And then I started working on it. And then I got pulled off of it, renovating another house.
Mm-hmm.
And I got pulled off of it, building a garage. I got pulled, a variety of reasons.
Right.
So
it's just been kind of like a side.
It was a start and stop kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then I got real serious with it in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I really started making progress in 2017. And I moved into it, like I said, about 2 years ago. So
Nice.
So it took some time.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It reflects the idea that I restored it with care.
Yeah.
I didn't cut any corners in this house. This house is ready to go for the next like 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a well restored house. So it's
Till the fifth owner.
until well, maybe it might last that long. Right. So it's whoever gets the house after me, because I'm a caretaker.
Right.
We're all caretakers of these homes.
Right.
And so, but the next person is going to appreciate my work, I assure you.
Well, we'll have to be the judge of that. We'll come over and see that.
No, you're more than welcome to.
Well, since that'll bring us into why we're here. What we're here to talk about, though, I found that very fascinating. I could talk about old homes all day. And the treasures that you probably found while you were working there.
I found a bunch.
Oh,
bunch.
Don't get me sidetracked.
I found all kinds of stuff in that house.
We're gonna have to say that for another episode. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna collect myself because I love treasure hunting. So if you've been there 2 years, how long has Porchfest been a thing?
This is our 6th year.
All right, so spill the beans. If you've been obviously hanging around the neighborhood. Tell me about Porchfest. Tell our viewers what Porchfest is.
Well, Palatka Porchfest. Well, Porchfest Music Festival. The format started in Ithaca, New York. I would say probably maybe 17 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's such a beautifully formatted music festival that it quickly caught on. It swept the entire country. We basically, what's really interesting is that different communities, I've researched them, because I'm always trying to improve Palatka Porchfest.
Right.
And so I look at what other communities have done, and I try to bring those best elements into Palatka's Porchfest. And so what we do is we put these bands on these historic house porches. And of course, they're all very large.
Right.
For the most part.
Yeah.
They're all very large porches. So they can handle a band of any size.
Right.
Or various sizes, right? And so the way we do is we block off the South Historic neighborhood from car traffic. We don't want any cars coming through there.
You do a lot of golf carts though, right?
Golf carts are more than welcome.
Yeah.
Bicycles is really a great way to get around. I use a bicycle.
I don't know what eliminated that thought entering my mind, but I was like, man, I wish I had a golf cart, but I do have a bicycle.
Bicycle works. I mean, you can rent a golf cart.
Yeah.
I mean, you get.
That'd be a great business.
That's another story.
To have down here.
Golf carts are another story.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we were renting like 4 golf carts for the music festival for various volunteers doing specific tasks. Like
you can't do a festival efficiently if you don't have a golf cart. In my opinion, that or a side by side, that makes the job 10 times easier.
Well, you definitely need a golf cart to resupply the drink stands.
Yeah, ice at minimum.
Yeah, for sure. But well, initially I used a golf cart, but Well, last year I had to cut the budget,
Mm-hmm.
and so I cut a couple of golf carts out, and I didn't use one,
Mm-hmm.
and I used my bicycle, and I found that was actually an easier way of getting around than using the golf cart because there's a lot of people in the street.
Yeah.
So the meandering around folks is a lot easier on a bicycle. So
And I can assure you, pedestrians are not thinking about the golf cart behind them.
no.
No, and which is good. You want them immersed in the scenery, but that can be a bit challenging.
Yeah. So we block off the neighborhood. It's basically a 9-block area, kind of like a tic-tac-toe board.
Mm.
And we'll put bands on the porches, and we'll play music all day long from a wide variety of genre. That's Eddie Stovall with Caribbean 450.
Yeah, yeah.
He gave me this advice the very first year in 2018. Very first year. He said, if you don't play music from all of our neighborhoods, you're implicitly not inviting them. Well, that's the antithesis of the whole point of the music festival. The point of the music festival is to bring this community together, strengthen friendships, create new friendships, contribute to the culture of the community, the image, its revitalization, and the profits that we make go to local charities.
So what I'm hearing you say is you're bringing something that speaks all languages, all cultures, all people, music. You're bringing it downtown where people can walk, be outdoors, enjoy the natural beauty and history of this community. And then you're taking the profits from this event and putting it back into the community through charities.
That's right.
I love that.
Yeah, we've donated almost $20,000 to the local charities.
That's incredible. There's a gentleman named Jeff Siegler. He talks about revitalize or die. And one of the things that he brings up in his videos and the conversations is that giving people something to do in a community, a reason to be out, a reason to be participating is so important. And that is the epitome, I believe. Like, because, going, you realize, okay, not only am I having something to do where I'm like, for me, I live over the bridge. If and so I wanted to, I could walk, and I've walked many times over the bridge.
I walked the man-made hill.
Yeah, the man-made hill. Yeah,
the only hill in town.
Right. Don't discount the ravines.
That's right. I stand corrected. That's right. The ravines have plenty of hills.
Yes. But you could walk over there. You could go enjoy, be with your community, be introduced to new styles of music, new friends, meet people with common interest. If you're at a porch that plays folk music and maybe you didn't know anybody who was into that. And then all of that money that you spend there then goes into your community.
Local community. That's my real motivation. I feel pretty damn good when I write out a check to, Feed the Need or the Lee Conley House or the Women's Resource Center, the Police Athletic League, the Pilot Club, the high school athletics. We've given the biggest donation the Putnam County's animal shelters ever received.
And we need that for sure here in Putnam County.
Yeah, that's an important charity for us.
Absolutely. I think that's enough motivation for someone to want to come. And so for 6 years, I'm sure you've learned a lot. And we'll get to the music that you're playing there, because I know that I'd shared a local band, a semi-local, but local to, Northeast Florida, that I was hoping, a little bit edgier stuff that you could bring on down. And we'll get to who's playing.
Who's that?
Blister.
Oh yeah, Blister. Well, after I spoke to you, I went and tried to look them up.
Blistur.
I'm sorry, what?
Blistur. Blister.
You are. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because I think I had trouble actually identifying them on I was looking on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay. All right. So then that'll be on my things to do list.
Plug them down there because they're pretty awesome. And they came down during Blue Crab Festival. If you're into rock, that's kind of
it's a rock and roll genre.
Yeah, more Metallica, things like that.
Okay, they'd be.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
They'd probably be a headliner band.
I'm done. Yes, they're pretty amazing.
Okay, so we'll make it.
We have a lot of amazing bands local to us, and then outside of that,
Well, that's one of the policies of the music festival is that we rotate bands in and out so that we get we want to bring in new bands, give them a chance to participate. We'll run them, 1, 2, 3 years, and then we rotate them out and bring new. We got a lot of new bands this year.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the lineup yet, so
Got a lot of new
I'm coming
bands.
into this.
Lots. Half of them are new.
Well, I'm excited for you. I hope you have a few of them off the top of your head you're going to share. But let's talk about 6 years ago. What made did you launch this? Like, what made you decide? Like, hey, I want to do Porchfest.
Hey, the current mayor got the idea and brought it into the community, but didn't really develop it. The current mayor, Robbie Correa, she's the one who I think she did
we
it in
need
20.
people bringing ideas
I
and then
think
executors.
well, she brought the idea to the community in 2015. I think it was 2015, and but
This was before she was in office.
Yeah, before she was in office, and I guess the limited funding that they used came from the art council.
Okay,
but it wasn't developed. And I wasn't even aware of it when the first year it happened.
Okay.
I mean, I think some of us just kind of woke up and there was music on a porch, and there was I think there was like 5 bands.
Okay.
And if I remember right, it wasn't much of a diversity, but there was like 5 bands, but
got to start somewhere.
But yeah, so the concept came in. I'm not sure where Robbie got it. In Florida, well, I can tell you right now, the best porch fest, I think, in the entire country is in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Springfield Historic District does Jacksonville Porch Fest in the Springfield Historic District, and they are exceedingly well organized and exceedingly well funded. I mean, they do a fantastic job. It is a big event. I highly recommend anybody going up there and checking it out. And it's always the first Saturday of November. First Saturday of November.
Drop a link below and be sure to share that with people. But you're gonna.
Well, let me tell you this.
Show Jacksonville love.
Well, Palatka Porchfest is second only to Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been down I've been over to Quincy, Florida's their Porch Fest. I've been down to Sanford's Porch Fest. I've been over to Lincolnville and St. Augustine's Porch Fest. I can tell you right now, Palatka Porchfest is second only to Jacksonville, but they have so much more resources than we have.
Right.
But we are exceedingly well structured, and we run it in a professional manner. I mean, it's a well structured event.
That's a lot of organization. I mean, to have, because it's not like 2 porches next to each other. Like,
no, there's a lot of logistics in this. Let me tell you, lots of logistics,
and people donating their porch. Like,
well, to get the music festival off the ground, it takes a community effort. I mean, I'm just a facilitator. Right. I mean, I'm the hub of the wheel. I mean, it takes, the homeowners to host the bands. It takes the musicians. It takes the small business owners. It takes the county's Chamber of Commerce is a big help. So it's a free event,
right?
And so, but it's not free,
right,
to produce,
right?
I mean, it costs,
which is a statement in itself. I mean,
because we pay the bands. The bands are not playing for free,
right?
So we pay the bands. That's half the cost of the cost of putting on the festival. That's
wild that you it's a free music show.
I'm not shy asking for money.
That
doesn't mean they give it to me. But
evil though, like when I think I was working on the Flying and Classic Car Show, which the only cost of that this year was parking, just because we had to. But it's free to enter. All of the things that were going on, all the people who flew in and drove in, and that is. You gotta know when to say, "Hey, I need help here." So,
well, I'm an engineer, scientist. I'm very structured in how I think. So, putting structure into the festival comes second nature to me.
How'd you end up structuring it anyway? Like, how'd you?
Well, I just used my common sense. So.
But I mean, you woke up one morning and there was music, and you didn't do that.
No.
So how'd you end up?
Well, then it becomes quite apparent that this is something that can be really a beautiful thing for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I became president of the neighborhood association,
Mm-hmm.
and then I took it over. Robbie did it one year, that 2015 year. It didn't happen in 2016 or 17. In 2018, well, actually, I tried to do it in 2016, I think it was. And I had it basically organized, ready to go, but I couldn't get a permit.
Mm.
So you can guess why is that? You have to ask the mayor. The previous mayor.
Right. But now you got a permit. The show must
Oh
go
yeah, we
on.
got it off the ground in 2018.
Excellent.
And so we're always the first Saturday. Now, Jacksonville Porchfest, first Saturday of November. Palatka Porchfest, first Saturday of December. Now,
thank you for doing that.
First Saturday of December from 11 to 7.
We're not sweating it up.
Yeah, we run it to 7. And then we shut down because we're trying to create some synergy. Once again, we're trying to do good for the community.
You said 7 to 7?
No, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry. 11 in the morning.
11 to 7.
11,
okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say, dang.
Yeah.
You got to start with some early morning soothing music.
That's correct. So we are 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
That's a long run.
That's a long. Well, we didn't start off that way.
Yeah.
We didn't have a headliner initially. We only ran it to 4:30. So we only had it until the sun was up.
Right.
And then at 4:30, the sun goes down at 5:30. Mm-hmm. So it gave us an hour to clean up before it got dark. Mm-hmm. And then we, this is, we have common sense. We organize it. We see how it runs. And the smart thing we do is we sit down. Okay. And then we debrief.
So important.
What did we do right? What can we improve upon? And so the music festival has evolved and developed over time. Mm-hmm. And just like I said, this is our 6th year. So we shut down after about the first 2 years. I think the 3rd year was the first year we went into the evening.
Okay.
And we had a headliner. And so we go to 7. And that's really a perfect time for us. Because once again, we're trying to do good for the community. We're trying to support the local downtown bars and restaurants.
Right.
So we produce a card, an invitation card that we hand out during the festival. What's Porchfest After Dark? So where is the music, the live music?
Love it.
After the festival is over with.
Right.
So we shut down at 7. That's a perfect time for the local bars and restaurants to have live music kick in. And then we try to transition that crowd.
It's like the after party.
The after party, yes, exactly.
I love that. It's like you thought about all of it. Okay, we're going to start the party here. You guys go enjoy. And you're connecting people with places to go. Yeah,
we give them the card, gives them a map, tells them the address, the band that's playing, the genre that's there. So
amazing.
We're trying to do good works. That's
I think we should do that for every festival. Like if you have a centrally located event that all of the businesses, bars, restaurants, even shopping, maybe you have a night market at your store that's usually open during the day. Who knows? The opportunities are endless, but you work with the organizer of the festival to say, hey, this is what we're going to do afterward, and then create some kind of collateral material. Even if everybody chipped in, hey, hand this out, say this is what we got going on at our place afterward. Like,
well,
that would be phenomenal.
One of the expenses of the putting on the festival is we produce the cards and we just hand them out. But the bars and restaurants,
community service there.
It's more of the community service, more of the doing the good works. I just need the bars and restaurants to tell me if they're having live music, who is it, what's the genre.
You guys have time because this is going to come out well before December 1st because we got to get the hype going about it.
Yes,
right?
Hopefully this will help.
So if you want to partner, you still need sponsors, right?
Oh yeah.
Vito said, we'll take your money. Absolutely. Yes. But what you're doing is you're contributing to the community.
We'll do good works with the money.
Yeah,
though.
Exactly.
We'll do good works. Because like I said, this is not a for-profit event.
Right. If we paid Vito for every step or every cycle he took during Porchfest, maybe we could sponsor Vito steps. They can see, okay, $1 per mile.
That's a good idea.
I know. You can use that if you want to.
It's a good idea.
But you're able to give back to the community, and then can people sponsor bands? Maybe they want to.
Well, we have two types of sponsors basically.
Tell us everything.
So we have the porch sponsors, and it's mostly small businesses can afford the. I try to make it as affordable as possible. I mean, we're not asking for much. So, I mean, if you want to be the presenting sponsor at Jacksonville Porch Fest, costs you 20 grand.
Wow.
We don't do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
we're talking about growing this thing, Vito.
I have plans. I mean, I have a goal, right?
I like goals.
So we're gonna keep developing it. It's gonna keep growing. Like I said, well, before we started the interview, I mentioned that one of the smartest things that I did for the festival was to I took some of the volunteers, which it takes about 60 volunteers, by the way. It takes about 60 volunteers to run the festival the day of the festival.
Volunteers are so critical.
Yes,
so critical.
This is part of the what it takes to get this festival off the ground. You know, the homeowners, the musicians, the volunteers that run the festival, the sponsors. It's a community effort.
Right.
So I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about, I bet I knew where you were going about where people are coming from.
Where people are coming from?
Yeah, you're growing this thing. You talk about the zip codes?
Oh, yeah.
We'll get them back on track.
That's right. Get me back on track. Okay, so my train of thought was the festival, we got goals to grow the festival and to make it one of the best, and I'm not kidding, to make it one of the best music festivals in Florida.
I'm about this life. To
put Palatka, to really advertise Palatka across the state, and to pull people from across the state. So to get a baseline of how we're doing, one of the important things that we do is we survey the attendees, and we ask them like half dozen different questions. But the really important question is, I want to know, what zip code are you from? So we do that every year. So I thought we would be pulling people from maybe 10, 15 different zip codes. So when I started processing the data and listing all the zip codes, I about fell off my chair. I was astonished. We pull from like 45 different zip codes just in Florida.
That's wild.
Now we had some outliers, you know, like from Georgia or Texas, or I think we had one actually from Michigan, but those are obviously outliers. So yeah, but the ones. Can you
imagine somebody packing up from Michigan and being like, "Oh, we're going to Florida to Porch Fest."
Palatka Porchfest.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just any Porch Fest.
No, it will be the Porch Fest.
The Porch Fest. Right? Exactly. So we had 49 different zip codes. So I took Excel, and I can map them out in Excel.
Right.
And sure enough, Palatka was the bullseye, and we're pulling from all these zip codes in all around us, 45 different zip codes.
That's incredible.
That is incredible. And that's only that, and we're not even, we're near pulling the attendees that we would like.
Right.
So we have a lot more room to grow. So
I wonder if there's a way that you could gatekeep, not gatekeep, that's not the word I wanted, where people, in order to get up to Porch Fest, had to come through some kind of check, and could maybe you give them a form ahead of time, like when they buy their tickets, like what zip code are you coming from?
Well, they're not buying any tickets because it's a free event,
or not, but not buying tickets, but maybe you could do reserved parking, or I don't know. I'm just trying to think. We'll iron that out.
No. I'm laughing about it. Reminded me of an idea that the city told me. Like we should control who's coming in and who's going out of the festival. Well, there's 11 different intersections that they're coming in on. So what? That's right. They wanted me to limit the amount of people there. Yeah. You can believe that. The city told me to limit the amount of people there.
When you
This is way back.
Yeah.
This is way back. But this is another one of these nitwit ideas. You know,
But you
limit
turn
the
that
amount of people
around.
coming to the festival. Does that make
Right.
any sense whatsoever? No, it doesn't make any sense. But I asked him, well, how you want me to do that?
Mm-hmm.
You want me, you know, I got 11 entrances.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm supposed to correlate in real time, people coming in, people going out, 11 different locations. I mean, it made no sense whatsoever.
That's already hard enough to deal with one or two.
So yeah, so we just do the survey.
Right.
We got a couple of different 2-person groups that go around and with a clipboard, and they ask people what zip code are you from, why are you here. Like they could be in town for maybe a tournament or something.
Right.
So we asked them like a half dozen different questions, and we give that feedback to the Chamber of Commerce.
Right. It'd be cool if you could get a sponsor for the survey, and they could do like you could do Porchfest pins. Or if they do a survey, they get a pin, then people will be coming up, hey, let me do a survey.
Well, you know, well, let me plug the big sponsors that we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have. I wish I would have brought the list of all the sponsors.
Well, you can give them to me later. We'll drop them below.
That'd be great. I appreciate
Yeah,
that
so
because
you don't miss anybody.
Because I'm really very grateful for the sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it isn't for them, we can't get the thing off the ground.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So we've got 2 different types of sponsors. We got the small business sponsors, basically, that are porches, and then we have the major sponsors and the presenting sponsors. And so the Chamber of Commerce, Seminole Electric, and ViStar are our major and presenting sponsors. Wonderful. And so we're still looking for more major sponsors. And I'm just going to give you the list because I hate to mention a local business that's sponsoring us. Some of them every single year. Right. They sponsor us every year.
They believe in what you're doing.
Yes, they believe in what we're doing, and they don't. All you got to do is ask, and they're there. So I want to make sure that they get some.
They write you into their budget.
Publicity.
I love that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So, so we did that. So before we were going to touch on the.
We talk about the way you got the porches that are sponsored, the music that's sponsored. We're just tooling around ideas for sponsorship.
I was trying to think of there's so many things to talk about with this music festival.
So tell me what's the next biggest thing on your mind? Like, so when they come down, it's down. We'll throw a map and all that below, all the links to this year's Porchfest. Okay. So people can navigate. They can come on their golf cart. Now, are there going to be food trucks?
Oh yeah.
What do you got?
Oh yeah, we got some food trucks that'll be there, all different varieties.
Right.
We'll have some art vendors and some craft vendors there.
Yes.
Let me give a plug to the artists in the the
Gathering Artists of Putnam.
Yeah, Gathering Artists of Putnam. Yeah, that organization.
Yeah.
So
I'm tracking with you, Vito. I got you.
Yeah, thank goodness. Let me tell you, I got so many things. I got so many things to say and not enough time to say them. So I
had to have a whole podcast because I have so many things to say. So I get it.
Really, you do such a good job.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, really, I feel very relaxed, and you make me feel very welcome.
I didn't even pay him to say that, people. Just so you know.
Anyway, I was not paid for that endorsement.
So, right, exactly. So you have your artists who are coming.
Yeah, they're coming. The Gathering Artists of Putnam are coming, and as a matter of fact, I made a deal with them.
Oh, I like deals.
I made a deal with Gap because, that's one thing that we have not been doing at the festival. We haven't been selling any merchandise. Now, we did bring in koozies a couple years ago.
I remember that.
And we still have those.
Right.
But in regards to T-shirts and caps and things like that, I didn't want to deal with that. I had enough to deal with already. Right. So I'm multitasking to the max. And so I wasn't going to put another thing on my plate.
Right.
So we've never been doing merchandising. Well, this year we're going to do merchandising.
Yes. Please tell me we have shirts, please.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're going to have high quality shirts too. We ain't going to do any of those cheapo stuff. So
a good T-shirt matters, Vito. I'm just saying, like, I will quickly buy a high quality festival shirt.
Something with a little polyester in it, nice and soft, lasts a long time. Yeah, that's. I just assume make less money and put out a quality product.
People who want shirts, who are going to be willing to pay for shirts, are looking for a good shirt.
Yeah, but like I said, the profits go to the profits that are generated go to local
Right.
nonprofits. So the deal with Gap is that we're giving them a percentage of the profits, and they handle the whole merchandising event.
Brilliant.
Right. So
You don't have to stress
we
that.
give them incentives to be involved. And
Are they designing the artwork for it?
as a matter of fact, Don Kite is doing that. Don
love
Kite.
his work.
Well, Gap members have done the poster for the past I think 4 years.
But this is prior to them being formative Gap.
Yeah,
Like, because they just started
right.
last November.
That's true. The current members have Alan Henschel.
Right.
He did it for 2 years. He did the poster, the playbill, for 2 years, like the 4 years ago and 3 years ago.
You got some of those old ones lying around? Just
Yeah,
asking.
I do.
I feel like I need to start a collection.
Yeah, I did, as a matter of fact.
I need some of those.
The last 2 years, Don Kite's doing them, and those two artists do a great job, really great job. So this year, since we're branching out into merchandising, the poster is too complicated to do. From what I know, it's too complicated, too many colors,
right,
to do it on a shirt.
Right.
If you're silk screening them.
Right.
So Don is currently designing a 3-color logo of some sort. I have yet to see it, and that'll be on the.
That ain't your problem right now.
No, but Don is a gifted artist.
Oh, absolutely. We have a ton of incredible artists, which brings me to the music. So you shared that. You have a few artists, you like rotate them out every 3 or 4 years, and then you bring in someone new, and you got a lot of new bands. Are these local artists?
We try to focus on local artists. That's really my primary. I always give them priority.
Sure.
To bring them in.
Palatka Porchfest.
Palatka Porchfest should have local musicians, but we do pull from the general region. I mean, we pull from Jacksonville, from St. Augustine,
and they're a tight knit group too. So they all.
Gosh, we pulled a Cajun band from gosh, what's the name of that town? It's a little itty bitty town. Cajun band from a little itty bitty town.
Blair Wallace is not good at geography. Just saying.
Gosh, what's the name of that little town over there?
Is it in Putnam?
Yeah. Oh no, you know what? I don't think it isn't actually in Putnam. I think it's just outside of Putnam. I think it might be in Marion County, maybe.
Wolf, listen, this is the joy of editing. When you remember, you're going to text me, and right here, hopefully this is centered. This is going to be what city it is.
What city is bringing us the Cajun band? Now, of course, we had the Cajun band.
Now, what's the name of the Cajun band?
It's called Cajun Dave and the New Orleans Poor Boys. But even though I'm plugging them now, this year we're not having them.
Okay.
Because they've been.
Well, now we have a mystery on our hand, though. We have to figure out where they're from.
They've been at the festival like 4 years in a row.
Right.
So we had to rotate them out.
Right.
And
who do we have this year?
Good luck getting another Cajun band.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Okay.
It's not easy. So anyway.
Who we got on the roster this year?
Well, I did bring the list of the new bands that we're having.
Give us some examples of the newbies.
So we're gonna have 14 bands this year, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new bands.
Okay.
And so we got a really good jazz band coming in from St. Augustine called the Jazz Coalition. We got a new reggae band coming in. They're Chilakaya. Chilakaya is a reggae band, a 3-person reggae band. Chilakaya. We got a good Southern rock band. Southern Ruckus is coming in.
Southern Ruckus, I like it.
Yep. And for you Jimmy Buffett fans, we got a band called Landfall coming in.
Landfall, okay.
That's Jimmy Buffett fans.
I've seen them somewhere on there.
We have a really special lady and her husband. Stevie Lynn and Joey Anderson. They're a couple. I think if I'm not mistaken, Stevie Lynn actually I think grew up around here, and she's a noted artist, musician,
Yes,
singer.
she's come up in other interviews when it came to music.
Oh, really?
Stevie, yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. I
So
have to get Fisher around for that.
talking to
Maybe
or
a week
emailing
ago.
Stevie,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
communicating with her through email, she conveyed the idea that they had just come back to this area where they had previously they had been spending their time in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know if it was Oregon or Washington at the moment, but they've come back in and they reached out to the Palatka Porchfest website or the Facebook page, one or the other, and
Which we'll drop links below.
yes, please do. So then I get a lot of bands reaching out to us, and so what I do is I just research them, and then we try to, like I said, rotate bands in and out, and I'll tell a lot of them, if I can't get you in this year, I'll get you in next year. So,
I love that you have like a waiting list.
yeah, we definitely have bands reaching out, and quality bands too.
Yeah. I'm excited.
And we pay the bands. We pay as good as Jacksonville Porch Fest.
Can you tell us who the headliner is? Are you allowed
The
to say
headliner
that?
is going to be the Jazz Coalition.
I feel like that sounds familiar.
This guy, Russ, I can't remember. I can't pronounce Russ's last name. I forget how to pronounce it.
Jazz Coalition works.
But Jazz Coalition / I personally like Jazz Coalition, but I think they have like an umbrella group called Jazz Coalition, and then subgroup is called something Heat. Oh no, something Burn. Give me a moment.
We'll do another one of those.
Burn Unit.
Burn Unit. I was going to say, I got another hand we can flash right here.
That's it. So the Jazz Coalition, this guy is a well-established New York jazz musician. And he finds himself in St. Augustine, and he reached out to us. Or maybe I reached out to him. Maybe I was looking for a jazz band, and I reached out to him because we had the jazz that we were getting the past 4 years was Akia Uwanda. She was fantastic. She was the headliner last year, Akia Uwanda. But like I said, after 4 years, we needed to rotate. So I was looking for jazz. I was doing a little Google searching,
right?
And I stumbled across the Jazz Coalition / Burn Unit,
right? And
then I reached out to Russ, and then he's all for it. So he's going to be the headliner this year, and so we'll see how it goes. But we got the blues, we got rock and roll, we got reggae. What else we got? Folk music. We got folk music.
That's what was in my brain.
Folk music. We had a bluegrass band, but they dropped out at the last minute. They dropped out just a few days.
You're gonna get a metal porch?
A few days ago. Well, you talked about the metal porch and the blister. So,
now there's a difference, though.
There's a difference between blister and metal.
If we talk about, because there's heavy metal, like the stuff where they scream you can't understand. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, I'm just curious how broad, or do we have?
No. We can bring in heavy metal. Oh yeah, we got hip hop this year.
Oh, sweet. I was going to ask you.
Yes, we have hip hop, and they're all local.
I love it.
They're all local. I reached out to the big homie.
Yeah.
Keith Williams.
He's
a
one
sweetheart.
of my favorite. I love him.
Keith Williams is a sweetheart. So he linked me up with Frank Nitti.
Okay.
Frank Nitti, I think,
there's a lot of great artists that he's connected with. So
Frank Nitti is the go-to guy who's organizing the gig is 2 hours. So they can't, a gospel band or a Christian band, they can't sing for 2 straight hours.
So
the hip hops can't sing for 2 straight hours. So Frank Nitti is supposed to be getting like 3 or 4 different hip hop artists that are local.
Okay.
To come and share a porch.
Okay. Oh, that's smart. That's smart.
So
I have I interview with Chase from Cholula. Is one of our very first interviews on the channel.
Cholula, they were headliners 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I tried to get him again this year.
Yeah.
But they were already booked. And
Yeah,
I
they
booked
book
these
out pretty
bands.
far.
I book them 6 months in advance.
Yeah, no, Cholula's pretty far booked
Popular.
out. Yep. And he was talking about like how much bands, especially bands who play out a lot like that, appreciate the smaller window because they can give it all they got. So I think for those who do play out and are used to playing a larger set, 2 hours is a good spot.
Yeah, I asked the very first year. I asked the bands, "How long do you want to play?"
Hmm.
You know, an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours. They say an hour is too short.
Mhm.
They're just warming up after
Right.
an hour.
Right.
So, and I do tell them, you guys can take breaks in the
Right.
2 hours stand. You don't just you have to play nonstop. You know,
Right.
take a break. In fact, they're supposed to give all the bands. I give them out an announcement sheet
Hmm.
to support to thank the homeowner
Hmm.
hosting the band, to thank the porch sponsor,
Hmm.
to thank all the major sponsors and the presenting sponsor. So they have a chance to they can, you know, shut down and take a break for, you know, a little bit.
Oh, how thoughtful of you.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, what's not to like about
What
Mr.
kind of
Russo?
food trucks did you say you gonna have
Oh,
coming?
the noted one was is James. James has got this smoker
Hmm.
barbecue. Um, it's melts in your mouth.
What's the name of the?
I forget. I'm drawing a blank on James' last name, and he doesn't have. He just shows up with a smoker, and there he is. He doesn't.
That's the best
he has,
kind of
He
food.
has no advertisement.
That's the best kind of food that you could have is somebody who just shows up with a smoker. Like,
Well, let me tell you, the first year he showed up.
okay,
So you know, we have entry points.
right,
Okay, so most of them are hard barriers because, you know, in the beginning we had cones. Well,
Right.
we had a bunch of yahoos basically moving the cones and driving.
Cones are abstract. If you
Those street
people do
cones.
cones all the time. You need barriers.
Yeah, I
Barriers.
mean, they would move what's the cone there for?
Right.
Right? What's
right.
it for? Well, they move the cones to drive in. In the first like 2, 3, 4 years, where the hell are these cars coming from?
Yeah.
They're moving the cones and they're driving in. Well, you know, we're going to put a kibosh on that.
Right.
So we put up hard barriers
Right.
on all but 3 entrances.
Okay.
So the 3 entrances are manned.
Mm-hmm.
We have volunteers there, and then if you live in the neighborhood or your friends and you're going to go over to their house,
Mm-hmm.
there's a list that they'll have to give me who that person is.
Right.
And there's a list, and if you know they're not on the list, you're not in.
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty much a hard ass.
I mean, you
about
have
it.
to be though. It's not like you're keeping people safe.
Exactly. Imagine if we had an accident with a car,
Right.
And hurting people. That is not going to happen.
Right.
So I'm a hard ass over the situation.
I don't blame you.
Public safety is, you know, ace number one. We're not going to ruin this festival. And I
Yeah.
also tell the bands, if your preacher don't want to hear it, don't say it, don't sing it.
I like it. You keep it family friendly.
Oh yeah, it's got to be family friendly, and I'm a hard ass about that too.
Right.
If I hear otherwise, they won't be back.
Yeah.
So
I
anyway,
appreciate that.
so James shows. So I think it was last year. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I take it back. It was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago. So we've got the food vendors. Now they're all different,
Mhm.
right? They got one barbecue and one, you
got variety.
Hispanic.
Right.
It varies. So I don't have 2 burger joints, right?
Right.
Just one. So anyway, a couple of vendors, Keith Williams, big homies,
Mhm.
is always one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Mikowski was doing the kombucha.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I love his
Yeah,
stuff.
had that van with all the,
yeah.
with all the tappers on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, James shows up. He's not on the list, but the volunteers, and I don't blame them at all. They assume that some guy shows up with a smoker. He's
Yeah.
supposed to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So they let him in. So all of a sudden I see this barbecue place show up, and he's on a side street. Well, he's next to the Hammock Hall at the center of
Right.
the festival. Right. So he shows up, and I see him there. And then Keith and Steve, they come up to me and they know James,
Mm-hmm.
and so they argued to let him stay because I would have given them the boot.
Right.
So they argued to let him
Understandably.
stay. So I didn't want to, So James was at another event that day, by the way, and
Okay.
it wasn't there wasn't much for attendance, I suppose.
Right.
So he packed up and came over to us. So I let him stay,
Yeah.
and he sells out.
Yeah.
His barbecue is really good. So he comes every year.
So he bribed you with barbecue.
That's pretty much.
No, it's okay. It's
Pretty
okay.
much.
It is what it is.
He'll be here this year. He'll be here again. He'll probably be here every year. I don't rotate the.
I was gonna say you don't have to rotate good food.
Yeah, I don't have to rotate the food vendors. So he'll be here, and
we can find all this on Facebook.
I'll give you a list of those too.
Excellent.
So
we'll keep you guys in the loop.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love to see where this goes. I like the challenge. I like a good mystery of what Vito's having coming next, and a shout out to all the volunteers because
oh yeah.
From experience, if you've seen it from the Blue Crab, you've heard this, you cannot do things without volunteers, especially at this scale.
Exactly right. Now I'll tell you, anybody who wants to volunteer, feel free to contact us. I don't work any volunteers more than 2 hours.
That's a sweet spot right there because I have put people to work 4 hours.
All day, right. There's only 2 people that work the festival all day.
That's
me
you?
And Bill Rulon, my right-hand man. And he's on a golf cart feeding the drink stands.
Right. That's
and he'll also and me and him also do any kind of troubleshooting that we have.
Right.
So me and him are the only 2 that work full time. Everybody else has a 2-hour shift. So that way everybody can enjoy the festival.
That's beautiful. So if you're looking forward to all that we've talked about and you want to know what's going on, we'll drop the links below. We'll be sure to say a shout out to all your sponsors. So you can check out the description below for that. If you want to get in on the action, you want to volunteer, you want to sponsor, you just want to show up, again, check out the description below. Hit up Vito.
Yep.
I look forward to hearing also about your magical home and going to see that and all your treasures. But until then, I cannot wait to meander around Porchfest on my bicycle or my skateboard.
Sure. Absolutely.
Do it on my longboard. I'm stoked about that.
Well,
maybe I'll do it on my bicycle unless I have to fall on that in public. So far so good though. I haven't
we only have
once.
Most of the streets are newly paved, so it's a pretty good road.
Oh, I'm definitely coming on my longboard. Then there's nothing better than a fresh, buttery, smooth surface.
Asphalt. Yeah, exactly. We only have, I think, 3.
It's not very hilly over there, is it?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
No, it's all flat.
End up in the river by accident or something.
Well, there is a bit of a slope.
Okay.
You gotta have some proficiency.
We'll see what I show up on, but I'm super excited. Now I look forward to what the future holds, and just appreciate you coming to share your message with us. Is there anything we're forgetting that you might want to share with the lovely audience here?
No, I don't. We pretty much covered it. It's just a beautiful family-friendly event, and it's a good thing for the community. And
you wouldn't say it to your pastor, don't say it here.
That's right. Yeah, that's a big hard and fast rule that I repeatedly tell the musicians.
You got to be on the list, and if you don't say it to your pastor, don't say it here. I dig it.
That's right. I used to say grandma.
Grandma?
If your grandma don't hear.
You haven't met some grandmas out there. Well, I'm not going to out my grandma, but I'm just saying.
That's exactly right. I thought twice about that. I said, there's some pretty wild grandmas out there.
Yeah.
So I switched over to preacher.
Yeah, I think that's good. So. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. We will be sure to get some pictures, drop it below of Porchfest. But until we meet for your home tour, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Thanks for joining me.
You're a lovely host. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Absolutely. All right, guys. See you.